Hi. I guess being here is hello. How are you all? And welcome to my channel, Deb the Healed Coach. So today I'm just gonna briefly talk about something I'm really passionate about. It is the topic about options. So why options? And why am I this passionate about it? I found that when I moved from my home country, Zimbabwe, I was a 24-year-old nurse, and at that time I had a young child, and everything was confusing, overwhelming, and it was a lot of things I needed to learn. And I found that to be in a system as complex as in Australia or in a different country from where you were born, it actually felt like, I needed to do extra things for me to be able to survive. I used to do extra shifts, like double shifts and all those things. And eventually, there's one thing that hit me home when I was driving from a double shift from Sydney to Wollongong. For those who know the distance, about almost 100 kilometers away. And I was falling asleep on the wheel, and I realized that something was just not adding up. Something else was not right. So in there, something in me told me that there should be a better way of getting this done. There should be a better way of doing this. So I started on a journey which was really frightening at that time, because I was just still a young girl in my 20s, still trying to find myself and all those things, and still trying to work out the system in Australia. So I stepped out a bit and started doing my eBay business. I've got some friends who would remember that, I had the eBay business, and also I had more of even just the Saturday markets. That's what I used to do as well. So in there, all I was really craving for was an alternative to being in one workplace, where I kept thinking to myself, if this works up one day and is not working out for me, what is it that I'm going to do? And also at the back of my head, I felt that if I had options, it actually meant that I could do other things, not just specifically what was prescribed for me, and which also gave me a better leverage in negotiating for myself when I needed to negotiate. So I went back to school, did a few courses and all those things. So by the time I started doing that, it opened my eyes more to the bigger world of thinking. I could actually get in and negotiate a contract with somebody because I just had an extra paper on my list. I had an extra knowledge on my list. So every time I keep saying to, younger girls who I come in contact with, to go, in this life, it's good to have your qualifications or your business and all those things. But I would encourage you to have options. Why are options important? Have something else you can do if plan A doesn't work. Or even if plan A is working, what else can you do with yourself? So I found that being able to go out there with something else has made me appreciate that the mind can actually be that flexible. It's surprising that I come from a situation whereby I'm a nurse. Originally, I will still remain a nurse. There's no way I can stop being a nurse. But I've managed to teach different topics like communication to a leadership group, where we're talking to managers about how they can lead people and how they can actually get into the world and put a company together and have this corporate world functioning in the same room. And I've woken up in the morning talking about work health and safety, and also really teaching the nursing topics. But doing all those things in one go as the same person has made me realize that at any point in your life, you can actually have options to actually be able to do other things you can never dream of. I've always thought that, okay, I'll be in the ward, I'll be doing what I do, and, go to work, come back home, and all those things. I never thought that one day I would wake up and I could actually be sitting in a room full of guys from the mines and teaching them how to change some filters for something, for work health and safety and all those things. So, what I'm really encouraging you is, like, if you actually look outside this box at times we create for ourselves, you find that the options you can have are just so many. Small things like, even if, let's say, you're a nurse, working in another department can actually give you more options one day. Or even getting an extra certificate, like maybe an immunization certificate, can actually make you change a bit of the career away from that. So I always think that options will help you in so many different ways. Like, if you're a married person or a married woman or man, and your spouse wakes up or not wake up, they're just gone, they pass away, what's going to happen? Is what you're going to get from the pension enough to keep you going? Maybe not. And then we talk about you as an individual. If maybe something happens to you when you're driving somewhere and you break your leg, maybe you might not be able to be a nurse anymore. It's another option to actually find something else that's just not that. Or if you are a teacher and something happens to you and maybe you are not able to physically do what you do, having those options in your life empowers you to even think about things differently. You find that if you can do other things with yourself, you can always negotiate. You're not going to find yourself being stuck in situations that you don't really want, simply because you don't have a choice. There is nothing as painful is seeing that somebody is saying to themselves, I don't have a choice, I've got no option, I have to stay in a job. Imagine how painful and scary and sad that person is. It means at any time you're so scared that if this thing I've got that's in my hand, if it goes away, I'm done, I'm destroyed. But if you've got options, you can always go and look elsewhere. Look at the plan B and see if you can actually go for plan B. I'm not saying stop working. I'm not saying stop whatever it is you're doing. But what I'm saying is, in this life, there are so many options you can actually look at. And there are so many possibilities. The world is full of possibilities. And, if you just sit down, do some goal setting, look at your life, do a bit of some evaluation, and check, what is it that I really want to do? What do I enjoy doing? What else can I do with my life? You'd be so surprised at how many things you can actually practically do and how many other options you've got in your life. So your homework today for me is, please look outside your box and see, what other options do I have? Am I happy? Am I okay? If you're okay, perfect. But if you're not, by all means, I can tell you this, there are more than 10 other options around this one option you think you've got. There are 10 other things you can do with yourself. So I do hope you manage to get out there, sit down, write it down, or think about it clearly and think, what other options do I have to make my life better? Because we only have one life, and you can only live it to the full. And you don't want to waste your life not having the life you've intended to have, or the life of your dreams. So always remember, if you look at your life and you go, if there was a magic wand in the world and to just bless me, what type of a life would I want? What would my life really look like? So, and aim for that, because that is what you are meant to have, and you can have it. You can have it all. I hope you actually get this and look at the options you can have in your life. It's all a matter of knowing, looking at them, exploring them, and going for it. It might not energetically be the same, but at a certain point, you will be able to get there. So, catch you soon. Thank you.